stable enough. If I move
I think it'll be good.
Okay.
Okay. So can you start off saying your name and where exactly you were stationed?
Well, my name is Hans Loewe, and I was stationed in Germany, right outside of Stuttgart, and I was the XO of the headquarters company of the 35th Supply and Service Battalion.
So why exactly did you join the service? Like, did you join voluntarily or were you drafted?
Oh no, I did not join voluntarily. I was drafted. I received my draft notice in the mail, and if you see it right here, can you see that?
Yeah.
I received this about 3 weeks before I was told to report for duty on December the 2nd of 1968. And it's really funny because when you read this thing, you get the letter. It says, "Greetings from the President of the United States. You are hereby ordered for induction into the armed services and to report to Virginia Trailways Bus Terminal in Culpeper, Virginia on 2 December 1968 at 6:20 a.m. That was a rude awakening in my life, because I had just graduated from college and I had just started my career working for Kroger.
Can you talk about some of your emotions, like when you got to boot camp and stuff, and like, were you extremely scared, or what was it like?
Oh, no, I wasn't at all scared. I knew what to expect because where I went to school at Virginia Tech, I was in the Corps of Cadets, so I knew what military life was like. But it was a little different because at that point in time, they also had a program going on which was called McNamara's 100,000, where they took kids off the streets of Chicago, New York, Los Angeles that had troubled pasts. So instead of being sent to jail, they sent these kids to the Army to learn the skill.
Yeah.
And that's the people that I went in the Army with and lived with in the barracks. And that was a little exciting. You had to watch out for yourself because there's a different breed of people. They weren't afraid to get in trouble, to fight, to stab you or whatever. So it was tough.
Did you ever like see any of that, like them stealing or beating people up?
Oh yes, I saw a lot of thefts. I saw a lot of people get in fights. I saw a lot of people get stabbed.
Oh wow.
It was a very dangerous area to be in, and I was just glad to get into OCS and get away from all that. And then my life changed a little bit, but it's scary.
Yeah. What did the food actually taste like? Was it like really bad, or how was it?
The food, surprisingly, was pretty good, but most of the time, as an officer, I did not eat on base. We went out to the local economy and we ate in the local restaurants.
Nice.
And the food was just outstanding, and me being of German heritage, it was even greater because I spoke the language.
Yeah. So what were you doing when you like weren't actually working for the Army? Like, what did you just do for entertainment?
Well, for entertainment, I traveled every single weekend. I went to different countries. Within 3 or 4 hours of where I was stationed, you were in a different country with a different language and a different custom. And it was so interesting to see because I traveled to Spain, France, Portugal, Switzerland, Austria. I mean, Italy. I was all over Europe. The Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, Belgium. The only country I did not visit was England. That's because everybody spoke English.
Yeah. What did the military teach you that you found helpful later in life?
Discipline. If anything, the military taught me discipline. You have to be disciplined. You have to obey orders. You can't fight the system as a lot of kids today do.
Yeah.
And you have to believe when someone tells you to do something, you don't just do it. You say, how fast do you want me to do it? How high do you want me to jump?
Yeah.
You've got to do it. Discipline is very, very, very important.
Were you like really relieved when your service did end, or were you just?
Oh, I was happy. I was elated when my service ended. Matter of fact, when my service ended, I was so happy that somebody walked up to me, wanted to buy my uniform, and I sold it to him.
Is there anything about that you like kind of miss though, like the camaraderie or anything?
Be honest, there is really nothing that I miss about the military. I was just glad to have gone through it, to have helped out, and do what my country asked me to do.
Yeah. Awarded any medals or citations or anything like that?
The only medals that I received were in basic training and advanced training, where I graduated outstanding trainee in the battalion, and in the company, the battalion, and also in AIT, which is at Fort Polk, where I was also #1 because of my past military training. I was also awarded the Good Conduct Medal, which only enlisted men get. Officers are not entitled to a Good Conduct Medal. I would also receive the Army Commendation Medal for service while I was in Europe. So that's the only medal since I was in a non-combat zone.
What exactly were they like based on? Were they just like you were like the best soldier? Like
It was trained. I mean, it was based on loyalty, initiative, leadership abilities, performances on tests, written tests, physical tests. So I excelled at all of those, and being graded out as #1, that's why I won the awards.
Yeah. Was there any like one specific like special thing you did, like a really important event that you think helped your chances of winning any of the medals?
I think my leadership abilities and capabilities that not only served me when I was in basic and in AIT, but also later in life, were the ones that actually stood out, because people trusted me, people had faith and listened to what I said, and I led by example.
Is there any like one specific story that seems really important that like taught you a life lesson from the military that you can think of?
The only life lesson I think that I really did learn was the fact of discipline. I was pretty much a free spirit, and I pretty much had a good time, and I pretty much did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it and how I wanted to do it. But when I went into the military, it was so regimented that there was an orderly way of doing things, and you had to follow that order.
Yeah.
If not, you suffered the consequences, and you knew that.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing was the fact of being drafted. I mean, you don't see too many draft notices anymore. This, I think, is something that I'll always cherish because it changed my life.
Yeah.
When I came home and found this in my mailbox, I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it was a good life lesson, and I think I learned a lot from the military. They taught me discipline. They taught me a regimented lifestyle and how to adjust to different scenarios, and I thank them for that.